Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen Robinson and I am your host. And today we have a very special guest, Valentin Radu, who is the founder and CEO of Omniconvert, a growth enabler for mid-sized D2C e-commerce and retail companies looking to increase customer lifetime value and decrease customer acquisition costs. He's a prolific speaker and a customer value optimization evangelist across various stages. He's also a father, husband, and pet parent. Valentin is also the founder and instructor at the CVO Academy, where he coaches and teaches e-commerce businesses how to scale their brands profitably and sustainably. Welcome to the podcast, Valentin.
Hey there, Alan, and thanks a lot for inviting me, and thanks everyone for listening to today.
Yes, thank you, and we appreciate having you. I'm really excited to get into the topic for today. We're really going to be diving deep into using first and zero-party data to improve the customer lifetime value and the customer value and overall customer value optimization. That's really, I know, your bread and butter. You've been kind of knee-deep into that area for quite a while now, so I know you're going to enlighten us on some very interesting things. But before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Yeah, of course. So, Alan, I'm an ex-poor kid from Bucharest, Romania. I've struggled to make a living, and that's why I founded one company and then another one. I failed miserably at the second one. The third one got really, really big. We became the largest online car insurance player here in Romania. We got to have 250,000 customers, sold that company after I learned a lot about these principles that I'm going to share with you and your listeners today about improving conversion rate and improving customer lifetime value. We were struggling to break even after investing a lot of money into ads, up until the moment when we realized that, hey, there are some factors, some growth factors, which are not traffic, which we should be focusing on. And one of those would be, ended up to be customer lifetime value. So how much you are paying, but how much you are getting from a specific customer, this is crucial to find out.
Yeah, very crucial, especially, these days. A lot of times what I've seen just talking to different e-commerce businesses and, even in startup businesses as well, when you get going, a lot of times as a business owner, you're really aggressive to try to obtain, those first initial customers and then continually get more and more customers. And, just you're willing to kind of go all out, so to speak, to get these customers. But what I've seen a lot of times is businesses, sometimes they are paying a little bit too much to acquire customers. A lot of times they're so aggressively trying to obtain customers, they don't realize, because they may not be analyzing their numbers like they should. They don't really realize they're really losing money in that acquisition, or they're paying more than they're actually getting from a customer. So it's a very, very good subject to kind of get into today. Now, what I wanted to start off with, as I indicated in the intro and the description of this particular topic or this particular episode, and I want to dive deep into, because this kind of word is kind of in this area has been kind of buzzing around a lot lately. I want you to kind of enlighten us of what it is, and that's first and zero-party data. What actually is that? What is the difference, and how is it applicable for e-commerce businesses?
Yeah, of course. So, Alan, we all know what the cookies are, and the cookies are third-party data. These are considered things that you are grabbing from third-party sources so that you can understand your own customers. Whilst zero-party data means something that the customer is willingly and intentionally sharing with you. It can be things like that you are collecting through an online survey, for instance, like, do you have a cat or a dog? This is zero-party data. And according to that, if you are selling pet supplies or pet food, then this is going to be very valuable for you as a brand, because you can tailor the remarketing, you can tailor the email marketing, you can tailor basically the messaging that you are using according to the data that has been willingly shared by the customer. And that's zero-party data. While first-party data is something that you are getting from your customers, things like transaction data, things like their city, their location, anything that you have regarding what they've actually done in relationship with your brand. So this could be things like their segment is I don't know, first-time buyers. This is first-party data, and blending those two together is I think the way to go in the future. We are coming after decades of acquisition marketing where it was kind of easy to acquire new customers, but nowadays when the struggle is real, and we have a lot of brands struggling to make transaction in the range of the ROAS that they are after. We have to leverage zero and first party data.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's, of course, from listening to that description, it sounds like, of course, the most, probably the most reliable form of that data is going to be that first party data, that data that you're gathering from your transactions. These are people that are direct customers purchasing from you. So obviously that's going to be, as long as it's not a fraudulent order, that's valid data. And then of course, other ways that you're getting data where people are either filling out opt-in forms, maybe they're even communicating with your customer support teams, they're filling out help desk tickets, that type of stuff. That's where people are manually putting in data. So you can, it's safe to say that data is probably most reliable data where people are manually entering that. And that's data from, customers and potential customers. Now, going back to the third party data that's actually obtained through cookies, different types of scripts and bots and things like that, a little less reliable. Of course, the obvious thing is with the technologies these days, everybody's on different platforms. Certain browsers have blocking mechanisms. Some people are on these kind of no ad platforms, no ad browsers like the Brave browsers these days, where they block all of those third-party cookies. So there's a lot more people that are, customers or consumers that are a little bit more leery towards getting, marketed to. So they're starting to block these things. And, we see these browser platforms kind of getting a little bit more on the side of the consumer with this thing. So that type of data is getting a little bit more less reliable. So I like what you said as far as we need to kind of merge these types of data all together and then figure out, all right, what's what, and then, how we can proceed forward. And as far as getting this data, once you have this data, whether you're, focusing on just getting the first party data or you're merging your first party, third party data and the zero party data all together, once you have this information, how actually can it be used to improve the customer lifetime?
Yeah, the first and the most easy thing that can be done first based on the first party data is to segment your customers so that you can understand which are the ones that you're after. So for instance, with the RFM segmentation that we are applying for years now, RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value. Yeah? You give scores, you get scores for each customer according to how recently they've bought, how frequently they've bought, and what's their total monetary value. Based on these scores, you end up having segments of highly valuable customers, like your VIPs, let's say. If they have the highest recency, they bought, let's say, in the last 3 weeks, they have the highest frequency, they've bought 6 times from your brand, and they have the highest monetary value. Yeah, let's say they've spent more than $2,000 on your store. Then these are your golden goose, right? They should be treated differently. So one way to improve customer lifetime value is to find who are your ideal customers. And based on these insights, you'll be able to build lookalike audiences based on them. For instance, that is one of the most used features that we have. Companies, we have hundreds of e-commerce stores on Shopify, on Magento, or on other platforms as well, pushing data to our systems. Then they do this RFM segmentation. They track how much of the revenue is coming from each of those customer groups. And then they use them to improve the Facebook lookalike algorithm, right? Because instead of relying on the algorithm of Facebook, which is being hit as well, right? So the algorithm is not what it used to be because we have less and less people sharing data with Facebook. That means their affinity scores are not as good as they used to be. But if you push this type of data in real time based on your best customers, then Facebook will associate all these data points that they have that, and basically you will end up having a higher return on ad spend, which means decreasing the customer acquisition cost plus acquiring the customers that you want because they will look like your best customers. So that's one way to leverage the first party data.
Yeah, that's great advice, because we always hear, what you have to do in order to get those right customers. And that's, to try to find that ideal customer. Once you've gotten some initial sales and you're looking at your data and your sales records, you see, like you said, that kind of golden goose, that person that has maybe come back repeatedly, or he's purchased some of your highest priced items. And if there's multiple people like that, then you're just looking at that segment, looking at those people. Where did they come from? How did they find out what was their customer journey? And then,
exactly,
figuring out what that was and then creating a profile based on that. And that's where your kind of ideal customer avatar exists. And so, yeah, that's some excellent advice, because a lot of times as a business, you're always focused on just, continually spending marketing dollars, trying to obtain new customers. And these days it's really easy to kind of shoot in the dark, so to speak, just because of so many advertising platforms that exist these days. I was explaining to you before we got started that, as a business, I've been in business, over 22 years. And so we started operations back in the year 2000 where, there was no social media. None of that existed. I mean, the only kind of online mediums were, you had some different directories and different things businesses could get listed on. And of course, there was the search engines, which were just kind of starting the pay-per-click advertising that was just getting going. But, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of places to advertise. But these days, there's so many options. I think businesses kind of, get lazy because it's like, all right, let me just get out here and create some Facebook ads. Let me do some things on Pinterest, LinkedIn. And just, it's kind of easy to pop in your credit card and pay. But if you do not have that avatar in place of that ideal customer without, looking at your own data, then, you're going to be wasting a lot of money and, maybe sending people to your business that aren't really that right customers. So that's, I think, great advice that you explained there for breaking that down. Now, what do you think of some additional ways to, increase the value of each customer? So as you're getting these customers, let's say you've created this profile, you're getting these new customers in, they seem to be kind of right, the right type of customers that you want. How do you get more value out of them?
Yeah, one of the principles of the customer value optimization, I've been obsessed about this metric. I consider it the North Star metric. And if you put it in relationship with the balancing it with the customer acquisition cost, you can see the health of that particular e-commerce company, right? That those should be above 3. So you should get at least 3 times more than you are spending to acquire a customer throughout the entire lifespan of that customer, so that you stay on the black. So in terms of the other ways. One of my favorite ways is to actually go out there and analyze the data that you have at your disposal. So once you do this type of segmentation, you can end up looking at are there any products in particular which are being bought by my best customers? Because if that's the case, maybe you should be considering to push those further. Not all the time your best products are being bought by your best customers. And that means you should be looking at the product assortment according to your most sticky customers. Another thing that you can do in order to increase customer lifetime value is to focus on the post-purchase campaigns. So basically, one of my favorite things is to understand why customers are buying. Let me give you an example. I've been doing this in particular with a few stores. One of the shops, it's called Biome Health. They are selling microbiome products for people which are having all sorts of medical problems, but they are selling the same product for different purposes. So based on the methodology called the jobs to be done, they understood what is the job to be done by their product. And they had 4 different jobs. Help me feel better, help me eat anything I want without any kind of issues, help me look better because they had skin problems, and help me revitalize. Yeah, let me feel, let me have more energy. So based on these jobs to be done, they crafted different landing pages for the same product, because at the end of the day, it's like getting a loan, right? You need money, but maybe you need money for buying a new car, for redecorating in your home, or to buying a new home, or whatever. It's the same product with different purposes. That's exactly what happens with your products. And once you know this, then you craft different landing pages to attract customers that are the most loyal, right? And in their case, the 2 of those jobs were the most impactful in terms of the future revenue. Knowing this, they ended up having different email onboarding sequences, because people which are buying products again, yeah, if you want retention, you need satisfaction, and then you need consumption. So the second acquisition is coming only if the customers are satisfied about the whole customer experience and the product, and also they are consuming the product. Because if there's no consumption, nobody wants to stockpile some products that you're selling. So the post-purchase campaigns, as you can see, can be made way better if you are not bombarding your audience with, hey, here's 5% discount, or here's 10% discount, buy again from us. Because people are not looking for a bargain. They are buying products to make progress in their lives. And with this technique, for instance, you can end up having a way better customer lifetime value. We applied this and we got results of 30% uplift in customer retention. So imagine that. It's like you have an extra 30% budget to invest in media, to invest in talent people. And that's happening only by understanding your customers better and by onboarding them differently with these email campaigns.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's very interesting, because what you're really kind of describing is, even if I think a lot of times businesses may think that you've got to create all these different types of products, but it's not necessarily the case. You're looking at different segments of customers that are looking at your product for different use cases. And that's what you really have to break down. What are those individual use cases? And then from there, all right, what are the landing pages for this use case? What are the landing pages for, another use case? And so a good example would be like a company that may be selling camping tents, for instance. One use case, of course, could be, outdoor camping, just going out there, getting into the wild or the woods or whatever, and going camping. Another use case is, I know one kind of big thing here in the US is a lot of times kids like to build forts and that type of thing. Yeah. And some of these tents could be used for like a fort. And so that could be a use case, believe it or not. A company may not be thinking about somebody buying it for that case, but if it was an easy to assemble tent, that could be a possible use case. So it's those types of things that you may not think about, where you can break it down and then, like you said, translate that into an email sequence based on that type of customer, kind of what they're looking for. Because ultimately, it's beyond the discount. The discounts are great and sending those out are fine, but ultimately people want to solve a problem. They want your product because they have a particular issue or they have something, a need for it. And that's really, really what's going to go a long way, for sure. Now, Valentin, as we get ready to wrap things up, I wanted to see if you could highlight some examples of some businesses that, you either work with or you're just familiar with that have improved their customer lifetime value, and, what are some specific things that they did?
Yeah. One example that I have in my mind is a company called the Turmeric Co. They are selling turmeric shots, and they've applied this whole methodology. Basically, we assisted them down the road. Now their customer lifetime value is 40% better year over year.
Okay.
They've applied the whole methodology by using zero and first party data. And another thing which was vital for them is that they've also used our systems to track net promoter score. So one of the most important parts of the customer lifetime value is to make sure that the customers are happy, right? That's the e-commerce growth flywheel.
Right.
If the customers are happy, they will buy again and they will promote you to their peers and their colleagues. If they are not happy, you will always chase for other customers to come back. So their NPS right now is better than Apple's NPS. And basically that means they have 88 NPS. That also means all their customers, almost all of their customers, are really happy about the whole customer experience. So one thing that is crucial is to understand if your e-commerce is actually making the life of the customers better, or you are just shipping products from A to B and always chasing for customers that never come back. And I think that's one important aspect that should be taken into account by many companies, which are, let's say, obsessed about the acquisition part, but they are not looking at what happens post-purchase, because the cheapest and the most effective way to do marketing is through your existing happy customers. Yeah, word of mouth is still the best form of advertising out there.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's a big deal to have an NPS score greater than Apple's NPS score. So you're doing the right thing if you're in that range. So that's an awesome suggestion. And yeah, I of course I'm a huge advocate for the word of mouth marketing. Nothing really trumps that. A lot of businesses don't really realize that even if they don't have formalize a referral program, an in-house referral program for the customers to refer their friends and incentivize them, people are still going to be spreading the word regardless. If someone has a good experience with your company and that you sell a great product, they're going to tell their friends, whether it's on social media, whether it's face-to-face, they're going to say, you got to check this out. This is an awesome product. But if you incentivize them to do that, they're going to even be more encouraged, to do that and to spread the word. Well, Valentin, thank you for sharing that example. I appreciate that. As we see, there is a lot that can be done with, improving the customer lifetime value. I've, definitely learned a lot in this episode. But it's just a process. I know that, when you're doing these things, improving their value, I think it really just kind of all starts at the beginning of what I said is just what you were indicating, that you really have to establish your customer, who is that ideal customer, and then make sure you kind of tailor all of your marketing efforts based on who that particular customer is. So that's, I think, one of the biggest takeaways that I see.
That's right.
Lastly, before we let you go, I always like to switch gears here, and just so our audience can get to know you a little bit better, if you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think we'd be interested to know.
I've been a butcher for 2 hours. Yeah, I was
okay.
I was 17 years old. I was playing soccer, right? We don't have American football here in Europe, and my mother was shouting at me that I'm playing all day long, and she actually got me a temporary job in at the place where I was supposed to to do a thing like meatballs, but these are longer here,
right.
and you eat them with mustard. And I was making those things for 2 hours, and at some moment the supervisor got out to smoke, and I was gone, you know. But that was an impactful moment in my life when I decided that, hey, I need to do something with my life, because otherwise I will end up here. And it's not like I don't respect that kind of work, but it wasn't for me.
Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you for sharing that. So it sounds like, that just wasn't for you. So I guess you pretty much could determine that after 2 hours of making the sausages or those meatballs that just wasn't for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Valentin. I appreciate that. Lastly, before we do let you go, if our listeners want to reach out to you and pick your brain any more about anything that we talked about, customer lifetime value and how to improve that, what is the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, so I actually have a proposal for them. Whoever wants to improve their customer lifetime value, we have free courses in our CVO Academy. So you can find our academy at omniconvert.com, and you can take those free courses. And also, if you like them, you can go really in depth. We have a lot of satisfied students over there. Otherwise, I'm a LinkedIn person. I'm posting every day about my obsession around customer lifetime value. I have a lot of insights, case studies. I have the luxury of having data from almost 3,000 websites, which are sharing this data, and we can see insights from various verticals. Okay. And pretty much that's where you can find me.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing that. I definitely encourage our listeners to take advantage of your academy and those free resources there at the CVO Academy. And, and of course, if they want to take it a step further, they can definitely connect with your team or reach out to you directly on LinkedIn or any of the other social media mediums. All right, Valentin. Well, it was an honor and a pleasure speaking with you. I appreciate having you on today, the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thanks as well, Alan, and all the best from Bucharest.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level, but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.